Hello, and welcome to Mike, DJ, and Doc, the show that plants seeds for cultivating new culture. Hello, how's everybody doing?
Doing good, doing good.
Good.
Yes, all is well.
Well, we're back on the Mike, DJ, and Doc show for the new year 2023.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely great, awesome. I tell you what, we're just gonna take a moment just to look back on 2022 and just mention some of the great moments that we had putting together this podcast and doing this and presenting it to our family and everything. And on last year, you remember we had a DJ QNE come by
Yes.
and telling us about music and music theory and different things like that. Then we had the lovely Julia Alexander from Including You Incorporated talking about community service. We also had Mr. Kenny Harris, former Will County Board member and CPA, to tell us about some business and some tax things and how to form our businesses and make sure that they are real businesses, not just expensive hobbies that we do on the side.
Mm-hmm.
So he came in and helped us with that. Can't forget Story Redemption with Mr. Garland Mays, Will County Executive Community Engagement Coordinator. He come by and told his story of how he started out in the church, how he got into the street, but yet came back and was able to use all those experiences to help the community. And we was thankful for that, having him on here. We also had Bishop Stephen Evans from Leap of Faith Ministries coming in talking to us about self-defense against being hurt. So, I mean, we done had a lot of wonderful guests on there. We ended the year also, I don't want to forget him, Weston, the playwright, producer that does a lot of productions here in the Chicagoland area for the communities, different things. So we done had a lot of esteemed guests on there on the podcast. And we're hoping, as in 2023, that we will be able to bring you more SMEs. And what I mean by SMEs, I just mean like subject matter experts to help us bring you a great podcast that will be life-changing and that will have an impact on your life. So, excuse me. Doc, so
Yes.
how's your new year starting out?
Man, it started out pretty good. Yes, pretty good. Focus, intentional about some things.
Okay.
Man, definitely, yes. What about yours?
Actually, mine started good so far. I've been taking time to, like you said, focus. And when I mentioned business, to get my property management business, strengthen that area of my life, to start investing more into that and making it a better, because that is one of the producers of this show is the Silver Cup Investment. So I'm looking to build on that and move into a next level of property management and restoration, building up communities. What about you, DK Cornerstone? What you been up to, man?
Man, just always busy. Always, man, but good. Yeah. Wife has been doing well. She's on a little break right now before she starts back to school. She got A grade, so I'm thankful for that.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. I tell you what, to be doing this for a year is something to be celebrated, because when you start out in this media of doing podcasts, you be excited in the beginning, you have inspiration to do things, but then you realize, guess what? If you want it to be enlightening, you have to put some work in. And sometimes that can get a little discouraging. But if you just stay focused and keep moving ahead and keep building, you can stay involved. And so we just thankful again for being on, for coming to you for a whole year.
Good.
Thank you. All right. Now today, excuse me, coming to you with episode 20. Our title today is Think on These Things. Reset your mind for the new year. So like we were just discussing about focusing and getting ready for the new year, different things. we know that this is a time when everybody stops to say, well, okay, what do I want to accomplish? Or where do I want to be at by the end of the year?
Mm-hmm.
Or what am I leaving behind in 2023? And setting the table is everybody knows that's been listening to us. Sometimes we set the table with a scripture. Sometimes we set it with a saying from a famous individual. Or sometimes we just come in and just start talking. But we're going to set the table this time with coming from a scripture, coming out of Philippians 4:8. And I'm going to be reading the Good News Translation just for a little more clarity. And it reads, in conclusion, my friends, fill your minds with those things that are good and that deserve praise, things that are true, noble, right, pure, lovely, and honorable. Now, the one who penned that scripture was none other than the Apostle Paul, who wrote the book of Philippians. And when he wrote the book of Philippians, he was actually in a Roman prison. He was in a Roman prison.
Right.
But he chose to position his mind on other things. So just because he was in prison, his mind wasn't in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And Paul, he knew the enemy always attacks the mind first.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking
Yeah.
about starting a new year, focusing on where we're headed and not letting our past pull us down, protecting your thoughts from negative opposition, because we all face negative opposition. So we're going to be talking a little bit of protection against that, and then transforming and renewing your mind by intentionally, key word there, intentionally, filling it with good things that propel you forward. And also, most of all, to keep God at the forefront of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, Doc, what are some of the pitfalls of life that we may run into
Some of
getting
the
our mind right?
yes. With people getting their mind right, I mean, many times is, staying stuck on doing things that have always been done, traditions.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times traditions, and it's been like this, and this is how they did it. So people become stuck in that place, and their minds become closed. Basically becoming a prison of what's been. I've always done it like this. A lot of people are just and they become stuck right there. Like Paul, you say he was in prison, and we know he was in prison.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing was, prison didn't control his mind. And that's what vision is all about, being able to get out of where you are before you ever get out. But your mind, we come out here first, and you got to come out here first. That's why a lot of people never get nowhere, because they don't come out head first, and so we're going to deal with a lot with this, because that you can categorize that in your finances. That was really kind of a great thought of mine as I was preparing for today's podcast, because that's the issue where a lot of people struggle at year after year. They never can save any money. They never can get no further with their finances. And so, and the key thing is putting systems in place, and making sure new systems, and sticking with the system. Otherwise, man, each generation will just be broke as the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
You hear what I said? Each generation continues to be broke as the next generation. And it's a repetitive cycle year after year, starting back over, making New Year's resolutions to save more, to have more, to get my credit fixed, to get this right, get out. But yeah, so go
Yeah,
ahead first.
you mentioned those systems that people have been stuck in, and
Yeah,
some of it, and I want to believe, like you said, it's a lot to do with the atmosphere, environment they grew up in,
yeah,
and some of the people that they grew up around with, and
yeah.
then one of the key things I think it is the lack of searching out new ways of doing something, because with dealing with finance and stuff, sometimes just learning the terms of communication with a finance person can enlighten you on some of the things that you are missing out on. So what I'm saying is like financial literacy,
Yeah.
understanding some of the vernacular just to get the understanding. Because sometimes you don't realize you're in a bad system if you never talk to somebody that's on the other side of that wall.
Right. Correct.
And that
Yes.
becomes your normal. So now you find yourself, well, I'm saying in my mind I want to get out of this, but I'm doing the same thing over and over because I haven't had a way to identify what is wrong with my system. And
Gotcha.
that's the challenge right there. Because if you can't recognize you in a bad system, you don't have a way out. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Definitely. Yes. And that's it. Yeah. And and a lot of times what people struggle with is commitments, staying committed to their commitments.
Mm-hmm.
And going into this new year, even before we get into vision and get into our main topic of discussion as we set in the table, is you got to make up in your mind once again that I'm gonna stay committed to my commitments. And that's the bottom line, because everything that you're gonna resolve in life, resolve is the key word. You know what I'm saying? Being intentional about what? The things I'm committed to. You know what I'm saying? Man, that whatever I say yes to, whatever I shake hands to, and even the Bible say, let your yes be your yes and your no
No
be
be
your
no.
no. They and yay. What it's saying is stay committed to your commitments. And hold on to that, because that's going to be a broader discussion of accomplishing a vision. You know what I'm saying? Because your
Mm-hmm.
vision board is purposeless if you don't stay committed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes.
Start getting
Committed,
fired up.
yes, yes, definitely, yes. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I've learned to not even get too excited about people starting stuff. You know what I'm saying? Let's celebrate the finish. You
Okay.
know what
Mm.
I'm saying? We'll have you fly, give you a little something. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because everybody can start a new thing, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody can't finish a new thing. Why? Because it takes commitment. It takes consistency, faithfulness. Come on, sacrifice.
Hmm.
Going and doing when you don't feel like going and doing.
And
You know what I'm saying?
adjustments.
Yeah. So man, oh man, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's good. You mentioned adjustments, like you said, because you may start out in one direction and you have to pivot and go in a different direction.
yeah,
And sometimes we find it hard to be open to what we don't know.
Mm.
To be open to what we don't know. Because see, like I mentioned with talking to somebody on the other side of the wall, guess what? We may not understand and don't know. So now we are operating of what? Out of fear.
right. Yeah.
Because we don't know what's on the other side.
Right.
And
Yes.
that fear sometimes, and we'll talk on this a little later, sometimes it creates a feeling of self-sabotage. I don't know if you ever heard that term before.
Hmm.
Oh yeah. Yes, it does.
Is you scared of doing better because
Yes.
now you out there in the open where you don't know where you're going. So if I'm comfortable right here, but if I jump out there, well, I may not be able to handle it, or may feel like I can't make it.
Yes.
You know,
Definitely.
and we start doing these things against ourselves that really is shooting our own self in the foot, for lack of a better terms.
Yes. That's it. Definitely. And there was the very wealthy man. He said, if you evenly distribute all the money in the world, what made everybody even with multimillionaires, he say in a short period of time, all the people that have the wealth mindset will have all the money again. All the people
Mm.
that were broke will be back broke again. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? All why? Because people are going to all move to their level of comfort. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? Everybody's going to adjust their lifestyle and living. And so the poor person is not going to be happy until they spent all their millions again and they're back miserably poor. The wealthy mindset is not, come on. And it's gonna put systems in place to
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
receive all that wealth right back. Come
Yeah.
on, do you
Well,
understand? And
Mm-hmm.
invent why? Because it's all in the mind. So it
Mm-hmm.
can, even if it's even kill, it wouldn't matter. People are going to adjust their lives. And even the scripture,
Mm-hmm.
what we dealt with on Watch Night Service and coming in this new year with, was out of Isaiah 43, verse 18. Says, remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old, because you'll become a victim of your own remembrance.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? No matter what you get new, if you understand,
Mm-hmm.
if you still think the same way about it, come on, it's going to be back the same thing that you always had. And then verse 19 said, why? Because behold, I'll do a new thing. So before God said, I'm going to do a new thing in your life, I got to adjust your mind. Because you understand? Because if you don't never get there visionally and live there before you ever get there, and if you get there before you ever mentally live there, all you're going to do is take the hood to the suburbs. You know what I'm saying?
Take the hood to the
Take ride
suburbs.
is living.
Yeah,
Come on,
man.
somebody to paradise. It don't matter. You just gonna take it. Why? Because you never mentally lived there before you ever got there. And that's the vision in its simplest form. You got to live there before you ever get there.
I tell you what, that's pretty powerful stuff right there. Pretty powerful stuff. I tell you what, let's move on just a tangent here. Sometimes in our lives we are in a situation where we're so busy looking ahead and looking back, so we are overlooking our present circumstance, living in the moment, and some of the things that you may be experiencing in your present moment that can be a benefit to helping you getting your mind right. But you got to take that time out to what? Refocus on what's going on right now. Because we mentioned vision, and you can have a plan laid out and different things you want to go and want to accomplish, but you might miss out on some of the good things surrounding you right here in the present moment. Like, for instance, raising your children. You know, you're so busy looking at what they're going to be doing in college and get ready for that, that you're overlooking what they're going through maybe right now. You know?
Yeah.
Take time out to do that, you know?
Gotcha. That's good. Yes. So you definitely, your presence matters. That's why even the scripture says about faith. When does it say faith is? It didn't say tomorrow. It didn't say when it was. It says now. That means I got to utilize everything in my presence now. You know what I'm saying? There was a story in the Bible about a woman that her son was getting ready to die. But God sent somebody to open her mind up to be able to see, keyword, to see more. And he asked her, what do you have in your house? Come on, not what you want to have in your house, not what you had in your house. What do you have when? Now,
Right
in
now.
this moment, in your house to work with.
There you go.
And when he opened her mind up to discover and to look around, well, dang, okay. And he began to tell it, he let her know, you sitting on your gold mine. You know what I'm saying? You're sitting, come on, glory to God, my in it. So, to get her to do what, like you just said, to realize the moment. Because your moments matter. Your moments are defining.
Exactly. Because see, what you do in this present moment sets you up for that vision down the road.
Correct. Yeah.
And you don't want to be a few years later and be looking back on the person of yourself a few years ago that could have done this, that you was procrastinating doing, and regret that, oh, I had the opportunity to do that then, and you're not setting your future self up for success.
Right. Yeah.
That's why it's, like you said, it's important to look at what you have right now.
Yes. Definitely. Yes.
Because God's definitely giving you what you need. You already have it. That woman already had it.
Yes. Yes.
She just didn't realize it. So yes, so that's good right there. That's good. And again, we're talking about getting our minds right for the new year. But sometimes, guess what? Some old relationships that you had in the past year, you might have to let it go. Because like we know, sometimes everybody that's in our inner circle is not always on our team. We probably grew up with them since childhood all the way up. And our lives are going in a separate direction. Well, sometimes you can't bring along somebody if you already mapping out going somewhere different. And you got to be mindful of those that you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be mindful of that. And here's the challenge, though. Here's the challenge. The challenge is, how do you know when you have somebody that's close to you that you believe that's supposed to be your friend and they're not? I mean, how do you figure that out?
Ooh, I think that takes time and observation, and you uh, thinking about how you are when you're with this person, with that particular person. Are you your best self, or are you your worst self? When
Mm,
you're with this person, are you what kind of what kind of emotions are you feeling? What kind of thoughts are you having? Are you having positive or you having negative thoughts when you're with this person? Because if you're having negative thoughts when you with this individual, especially if it's like every doggone time, I think that's something that would be considered a red flag. That's your warning,
okay.
because negativity ain't going to get you where you got to get to.
Right.
So you can even have a discussion with that person and tell them how you feel, and if they're not doing anything to change that, and you already put it out there, and they still want to be that negative influence, then hey, just kindly kindly
Mm,
say I gotta go. I
mm-hmm.
love you, but I gotta go.
Yeah. And feel good about it because, like you say, you did mention and you brought it to the table.
Hmm.
I mean, you didn't just quote unquote ghost them. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, because that's powerful. Because see, like you said, sometimes the connections that you have that will hinder your progress. And 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 another thing is, especially, and I feel like this, especially if you've been feeding positive into the relationship
Hmm.
and you getting only negative back, well then, you only can do so much to try to help a person. But eventually you do have to cut ties. You have to shake the dust from your feet and move on. Because like you said, what's the most precious thing we have is our what? Time.
And yeah.
It's our time.
Hmm.
Once time slips away, you can't get it back.
Hmm. And
Now,
peace of mind is precious. Doggone it. If somebody is affecting my peace of mind, uh, one thing they're going to see about me, I'm going to talk less, respond at greater intervals. What I mean by that is, before, if I would have, you hit me with a text and I responded in 2 minutes, well, after I see you wearing down my peace, then my response might be days later.
mhm.
Sometimes it's because I'm busy, but sometimes it's like, wait a minute, am I ready to deal with this individual right now? Because this could be a confrontation. Do I want to be weighed down, feeling angry and upset right now? Or how about I wait until I'm calm? It might take a couple of days for me to calm down sometimes with that particular individual. So,
That's good. Yeah. Slow to speak, right?
yeah.
Well, Doc, what do you think dealing with people that's not supportive?
I mean, you know, yeah, you for one, you want to make sure that you govern your life, not to where people are driving your purpose.
Okay.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? You want to make sure that, that your life is where because people will disappoint you. People will come and go. I mean, Jesus would go up to the mountain and pray, come back down. His boys would sleep. You
Mm,
know what I'm saying? When he needed them, and it's like, and then so it's going to come with the territory. I mean, like God even had a third of his people left. The angel left. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? And so that lets us know that people will disappoint us. So you want to make sure you're not giving people that much power over your life, especially that don't, have an influence on your bottom line. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's where a lot of people deal with a lot of unnecessary drama, pain, and confusion, where you got your life connected to people and your emotions connected to people, when people can be wishy-washy and be funny. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that brings disappointment. It's like, why you put that much expectancy in that person? You know what I'm saying? And whenever you give somebody your button, that means they can control it. They can control your anger button. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to deactivate that button. I mean, you
Man.
still can be down, but what you're doing ain't gonna phase me. It's not, not gonna affect me. You know what I'm saying? And another thing, don't make no resolutions, because man, people ask me, hey, let's go on this intermittent fast. Let's do this. We'll start it. I'm looking at them like, I don't do that kind of stuff with other people. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want you. You're not gonna be the source of my motivation, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do that, you do that. But I mean, you know what I'm saying? If whatever I'm gonna do as it pertains to my health, this is what I do. I don't have to wait to the beginning of the year. You feel what I'm saying? I know, take care of your body, your temple. You know what I'm saying? I know what to refrain from. I've learned to listen to the power of the Holy Ghost. What if you don't want to go work out today? What if you decide you want to eat a burger? You know what I'm saying? Now I'm still like, man, you ain't, no. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where people really ought to make sure that they move the govern switch from people in their lives. You know what I'm saying? Man, that you and your household can grow. You had a pastor in the Bible, and I'm going to let that point go, Joshua. He was dealing with people. He took Moses' congregation. Moses' congregation was content with going in circles year after year. 40 years they followed their pastor in circles, going nowhere. But Joshua let him know when he became leadership, he said, listen, as for me and my household, you know what I'm saying, we're going to serve the Lord. Mind you talking about a mega church he was pastoring. Shoot, you talking about mega? Man. Come on, 40, 50,000 people. You know what I'm saying? But he let them know. I mean, listen to that sermon. As for me and my house, like regardless of y'all want to get with the flow or not, you see what I'm saying? I'm going to teach you. I'm going to do my part, but I'm not going to be emotionally connected to, man, I can't believe my members. I can't believe so-and-so. Listen, man, people going to be people. You know what I'm saying? You don't know when they're going to give place to the devil. You don't know when they're not going to take up their cross and follow the Lord. Come on, saying you just don't know. So, hey, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. Thank you. All right. Well, I tell you what, you brought out something else that I caught in that about your temple.
Yes, okay.
And one thing that helps mental healthness, mental fitness is a good diet. Now, I'm not no health guru, by no means, no way. But I have started adding more vegetables to my meals and stuff like that. And I think it's very important to at least be mindful of that by the food choices you have, because some foods you eat and can do harm to your body. And if you're not exercising, because in the first year, everybody's exercising. I mean, you see all the commercials with all the different organizations that got fitness centers and all the discounts and everything else. So everybody's out running and doing that. And by the end of January, those places are starting to slim back out, except for the ones who are fully committed. And I think it's very important that we just touch on just a little bit about eating the right foods and different things. And like I said, I'm not a health guru, but I mean, what do you think would be a DJ? What do you think just a better way of looking at food choices and stuff? Because I know you got kids, so you have to keep nutrition in mind.
Man, I wish they would eat the stuff we want them to eat. Like we try to do healthy. They'll take to it here or there, but I do agree. Healthy diet is beneficial. It will help your mind, because ultimately both affect each other. The body helps the mind, and the mind helps the body. You have stress, your mind is all stressed and all that affects your health, and if you're not feeling good, that affects your emotions. So, and your how productive you can be if you don't have physical health. So yeah, eating healthy. We do attempt every year to be vegan. We're getting better with our streaks. Our streaks are going a little longer each year.
Okay, that's good.
So we start off, January, and we notice a difference. We notice that after that like month of being vegan, and we come up off of it and start eating meat and all that and grease and all that again, we notice that we get sluggish.
No kidding.
And even though we notice, we still get more and more into eating junk. Not necessarily junk food like chips and all that, but I'm talking about we're going to still eat our fried chicken and fried pork chops and all that other macaroni cheese and stuff because it's what we are, for one, accustomed to, and it's easier for us to do it. So for this health mindset, what we're seeing, we really have to try and be more intentional and be more actually forceful on ourselves to, hey, we're finna read this here vegan cookbook, this here Daniel Fast book, and we're gonna pick a recipe. My wife, we just started this up. Now I'm trying to get into it. I'm actually reading it now. So when I say we, in the past, I wasn't part of that we. So I think that's had a lot to do with it too. But this time I'm trying to be a part of the we to cook healthier meals and to learn, and then talking to people about it. People that we know are vegan, and you get different tips like, hey, there are people who have vegan hacks where it doesn't have to take forever in a day to make a vegan meal, because that's the issue. Vegan meals, to get it to taste good, it seems like it take a long time, preparation. But there are people who know how to do it quicker. So you have to look for that information on eating healthy. And it's like you got to train yourself and discipline yourself.
There you go.
Because it is not a convenient thing, especially when it's new territory for you.
Oh yeah, I tell you what, I have never stepped into that realm of being a vegan and everything, but I did one point in time said, well, I'm just gonna stop eating bread, anything that had bread in it.
Yeah,
I stopped eating bread for a while, maybe a couple of weeks or so, and I could tell a difference in the way I feel and mood and different things like that. And I actually went to the doctor and had some tests run and different things like that. And he was telling me how your numbers came down as far as your cholesterol went down and different things like the blood pressure and all that stuff went down. And, hearing that and knowing that, I still find it hard to just sit back and not have bread.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you really look at all the bread we eat, I mean, if you look at fried chicken, pork chops, you bread it with flour. You know what I'm saying? So then you got, of course, your biscuits and everything else. And then when you start looking at everything that has flour in it and you start stepping away from that, you find out it's a very limited amount of stuff you can eat when you start taking the flour and stuff out of it. And that's what I think makes it hard. But what I like what you said, my streaks are getting longer. So as you continue to do it, that it gets longer and the durations and the intervals get longer and longer, to eventually it's going to be part of your natural, and it won't seem so hard to do. But that's one thing that I've got to work on, because I am going to, again, knowing that it makes my health better, I gotta start taking the bread out. Less sandwich. I mean, you think about it, beef sandwiches, hot dogs, hamburgers, and all those different things. Everything's got a bread or a bun with it.
Yeah.
So it's just I'm gonna have to venture out and find more foods. And fortunately, my wife encouraged me, and she tries new dishes and different things like that. And we try a little different, not so necessarily vegan, but she just tried different things than soul food, quote unquote. Because candy yams and greens and sweet potatoes and sweet potato pies and all that. So we try not to eat a lot of that. And so that is that's as far as my health choices. Yes. But right, bad health choices, once you slow down, your body slow down and your mind slow down and your mental fatigue and everything else kicks in too.
Yeah. One thing I do want to say too is, in addition to the food choices, consider the drink choices.
Okay.
So whereas food, being vegan, it might take longer to prepare a meal than being a soul food cooker and all that. Your drink choices should be a little bit easier, because you don't have to necessarily prepare a drink. Just choose to drink less pop. Start off with choosing less. Wean yourself away from pop, because you don't really need it. There ain't one good thing in a can of pop. And if you want to wean yourself, hey, maybe want to get more 6 packs of juice bottles or something. So you wean yourself off of that. But water, hey, best doggone thing.
Yes.
And if you need some flavor, man, invest in a Ninja. And you want to make your own juices. Them things are doggone, they pretty doggone good. So, yeah, no, little preparation. The bottle of water ain't like you got to cook water. It's there. Just drink it. It don't take no time.
Yes. So definitely drink more water.
Yes.
All right, Doc, did you have anything you want to chime in on the food choices? Help our people?
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. You need to understand what went wrong in your family, first of all, because many times there's a food that feeds certain sicknesses and diseases and illnesses. There's food. There's certain things that feed it. That cancer feeds off of, that diabetes feeds off of, that high blood pressure feeds off of. Trust me, these sicknesses, they feed off something. You know what I'm saying? And it's whatever that person is choosing, or we choose to put in our bodies, put in our mouths. So that's imperative to find these information out. If you are intentional about your health, because being health conscious, because you can literally eat yourself to death.
Oh,
you understand?
Oh,
literally.
yeah.
I mean, it's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And so and that's very intentional. And the water, man, that's one of the powerful healing priorities that is in the earth realm. I mean, and we're blessed to have good water systems.
Yes.
That have lakes and rivers. We got good water systems. And if you're actually getting your 3 gallons, 3 liters, however you want to look at it a day, I mean, that's a high content, but our bodies are made up of 70% water. So that lets you know, I mean, that's one of the main things that helps our digestive system, our immune system. Come on, purifies our kidneys, our blood, our bladder. It helps people with bowel movements. A lot of people have irritable bowel movements. Drink a bunch of water in you. It'll push them bowels out. A lot of people literally, they're full of it. Full of, you know what I'm saying? And they're irritable because they're full of it. That's why it's called irritable bowel. But water, it'll push, it'll purify, it'll push. But a lot of people don't drink water. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because a lot of us were brought up, we didn't see that. That wasn't popular, but now we find out, man, water, man, come on, man. That's one of the master keys to having great health. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you'll find out you don't have a lot of time for sodas and juice, all that in between stuff. You may get to reward yourself at the end of the day with a drink of some different sort. But man, come on, 3 gallons of water. Stick them 3 gallons in, look. Let's go. I'll leave it at that. Yeah.
This will conclude our part 1 edition of the Mike, DJ, and Doc podcast, episode 20. Think on these things. Reset your mind for the new year. We'll be back on our next episode with part 2. If you have any questions for Doc, DJ, or Mike, please go to MikeDJandDoc.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. New episodes released on the 7th and 21st of each month. Matthew 25:40, Good News Translation, the King will reply, I tell you, whenever you did this for one of the least important of these followers of mine, you did it for me. We leave you with this question. Am I helping at least one person? The Mike, DJ, and Doc podcast is brought to you by Silver Cup Investments. Recorded at Audio Hive Podcasting.